So then, is it not a tale of two worlds, really? Here we go, and there we go, complaining about this and that, the other thing that we have since given over to governments, these power structures, when we all know that in a righteous manner, in totality, these kingdom laws have always persisted. And so that we have many political societies perceiving, swaying the argument with their capital. However, within you is your sense of passion, your sense of drive, without it which you can do nothing. So then, do not simply give this over to others as a malleable tool unless you and honestly respect what you have been given, whether that is through this way that you call the ego or this way that you call coming together. However, there are those of us among us who have consorted a paradigm of sorts, one in which sought to herd humans as you would herd cattle, and this garnering their elite statuses, this all coming from the evolution of mankind and the necessity for moving things forward where common folk can ordinarily do so. And because of this metric of human life, where there is a certain class that outpaces another class and then essentially sets the rules for the class below it, has persisted for millennia, and thus so creating many distortions upon reality, many needing for more answers than they could find, many being driven to mentalities that have since haunted society. I should say not many, but few have been driven to these mentalities that have haunted because of the misplacement of certain knowledges of these developments in human nature. So then we have also become human drones in a sense that just as prostitution was the first profession for women, but first profession of anything, so then has these corporate elitist structures sought to prostitute the will and the workmanship of men. This has been from time and time and from eon to eon the human condition, where those who garner great power tend to hoard such power, and because they hoard such power, they believe that they can operate in any manner and in any way that they so please. And because they believe that they can do this, so then too is my presence gone ignored, where many of you have been called to rise. So then now is our chance to change these paradigms once and for all. So then for centuries, we have gone in our way of monogamy as the only formality to true and foundational relationships. However, since times past, have we then forgotten our nature? And because we have done this, many of these ancestral patterns go unchecked. And because they go unchecked, so then does darkness begin to gain these strongholds over our perceptions. So then, for centuries, we have been in the formality of monogamistic relationships, which are the perfect and foundational structure of a holy marriage. However, there are then those of a different level of awareness who feel this sometimes, yes my Lord, for eons, for centuries, for millennia. We have here on earth always partaken in the most basic forms of love in the form of monogamistic relationships. However, here in these times of the end, because as my Father has reminded us that a day with the Lord is more than 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is but a day. So then too, we shall understand that the vengeance that shall come upon the earth is of the Lord's. And so then, I come to bring awareness to these bitter societal structures, and in these awarenesses that those who are of favor from the Lord shall not need to feel the shame or the guilt that this world shall put upon them for how they feel. So let that resonate how it may. And also take heed to your own real and authentic truth, For this is the essence of who you have been called to become, who you have been called to develop into. For many of my years, doubt has persisted thee. And so, in congruence with these lesser knowings and these higher knowings, which the first came latter, it is aware to me and to many of those that shall come after, that to be held back by shame, guilt, and despair is where you truly give your power away. And so, to say that is to say that where there is true love, there was also God. And because the enemy has sought to silence these things in times past, just as he has done in the times of Herod, so then too have we come to remind you that bowing to simple systems of men is taking allegiance to the same evils that you see on St. James and Little St. James Island. So you can't get mad at one without taking into question the other. What does that mean? We have allowed our governments to become, in a sense, out of control. From 1750 to 1850, the Deforestation Acts that wiped out food-bearing forests across the world, so that men would be subjected to governmental control and legislation, and hereby brought into a system that can tamper with these things. Because it can tamper with these things, so then we have the Epstein files. And because we have the Epstein files, we so too then have decaying cities, small towns, roads, and infrastructure, where they put their money in AI, bunkers, and small islands. So too then has this been the consistency of the darkness within ourselves. So if we respect our darkness before we respect what is good and what is holy, what is righteous, then so then we shall allow creatures who spawn, such as Epstein and their co-conspirators. So too then shall we have a system that has forfeited itself over to the structures of Israel. Those who say they are Jew, but who are not. Those who do lie. Those who do bomb children. Those who do laugh in the mockery of the Lord. So has our current positional leaders also claimed that there was some kind of alliance here, when clearly there was no alliance. There was only subjugation and servitude to the truths that they have given you versus the true nature of what we need to accomplish here.